How a narcissist treats his ex? Have you ever wondered why some narcissists seem unable to truly let go of their exes, even after the relationship is over? You might think that once a breakup happens, both people move on and begin a new chapter of life. But with a narcissist, the story rarely ends in a healthy or predictable way. Instead, the breakup often becomes another stage where manipulation, control, and emotional games continue. Understanding how a narcissist treats his ex can help you recognize patterns that often leave people confused and emotionally exhausted. And by the end of this video, you may finally understand why narcissists behave the way they do after a relationship ends. One of the first things a narcissist often does is try to maintain control over his ex. Even though the relationship is over, he may act as if he still has ownership over her emotions and decisions. He may suddenly text, call, or appear unexpectedly just to see if he still has access to her attention. This is not always because he misses her in a genuine way. More often, he wants reassurance that he still has influence over her life. Knowing that he can still trigger an emotional reaction gives him a sense of power. For a narcissist, control can feel more important than connection. Another common behavior is the cycle of hot and cold treatment. One day he may seem caring, affectionate, and nostalgic about the past. The next day he may become distant, cruel, or completely unavailable. This inconsistency keeps many ex-partners emotionally hooked. They begin wondering which version of him is real. They may spend months trying to understand why his behavior changes so dramatically. The truth is that unpredictability often works in the narcissist's favor. When people are confused, they're easier to manipulate and harder to let go. A narcissist may also try to rewrite the history of the relationship. He may tell others that he was the victim and that his ex was the problem. Important details may be ignored, distorted, or completely fabricated. This allows him to protect his image and avoid taking responsibility. If people believe his version of events, he feels validated and protected. Meanwhile, the ex may feel frustrated because the truth is being ignored. This tactic is especially painful because it attacks both reality and reputation. Sometimes a narcissist will engage in what many people call hoovering. This is when he tries to pull his ex back into communication after a period of silence. He may send a message saying he misses her or wants closure. He may suddenly apologize or claim he has changed. At first, these messages can sound sincere and convincing, but often the goal is not genuine reconciliation. The goal is to regain access to attention, validation, and emotional influence. Once he feels secure again, the old patterns frequently return. Jealousy is another tool many narcissists use after a breakup. He may deliberately show off a new relationship on social media. He may post pictures designed to make his ex feel replaced or forgotten. Sometimes he will mention how happy he is without her. Other times he may exaggerate his success and popularity. These actions are often carefully calculated to provoke an emotional reaction. If his ex feels hurt, jealous, or insecure, he may interpret that as proof that he still matters. Many narcissists struggle when they see an ex moving on successfully. If she becomes happier, more confident, or emotionally independent, it can threaten his ego. Instead of feeling happy for her growth, he may become irritated or competitive. He may attempt to undermine her achievements or criticize her choices. In some cases, he may suddenly try to reconnect after noticing her progress. The attention is not necessarily about love. It is often about restoring his sense of importance. Another painful pattern is the lack of accountability. A narcissist rarely wants to admit that his actions caused harm. Even when confronted with clear evidence, he may deny, minimize, or deflect responsibility. He may say things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're remembering it wrong." These statements can make an ex question her own experiences. Over time, this can damage confidence and create emotional confusion. Taking responsibility would require vulnerability, and many narcissists avoid that at all costs. Some narcissists keep former partners as backup sources of attention. They do not fully let go, but they also do not fully commit. Instead, they maintain occasional contact just enough to keep the connection alive. A random message, a social media reaction, or a brief phone call can serve this purpose. The goal is often to keep the door slightly open. This allows them to return whenever they need validation or emotional supply. For the ex, this creates uncertainty and delays healing. In certain situations, a narcissist may become openly hostile toward an ex. This can happen if he feels rejected, exposed, or ignored. The loss of control can trigger anger and resentment. He may spread rumors, criticize her publicly, or attempt to damage her reputation. These behaviors are usually driven by wounded pride rather than genuine justice. A narcissist often views rejection as a personal attack on his identity. As a result, retaliation can become a way of protecting his fragile ego. What makes these behaviors especially confusing is that they can happen in different combinations. A narcissist may act loving one week and vindictive the next. He may apologize sincerely and then repeat the same behavior shortly afterward. This emotional inconsistency keeps many people trapped in a cycle of hope and disappointment. They continue waiting for the caring version of him to return permanently. Unfortunately, that version often appears only when it serves his needs. The most important thing to understand is that a narcissist's treatment of an ex is usually connected to his need for control, validation, and self-protection. His actions are often less about genuine love and more about maintaining access to emotional supply. That is why many narcissists struggle to respect boundaries after a breakup. Healthy closure requires accountability, empathy, and acceptance. These qualities are often difficult for narcissistic individuals to maintain consistently. As a result, their ex-partners are left dealing with emotional confusion long after the relationship ends. If you have experienced this kind of behavior, remember that clarity is powerful. The more you understand these patterns, the less likely you are to be controlled by them. Recognizing manipulation does not erase the pain, but it helps you make sense of it. Healing begins when you stop chasing explanations from the person who caused the confusion. It begins when you focus on your own growth, boundaries, and emotional well-being. And sometimes the strongest response to a narcissist is not revenge or confrontation. Sometimes the strongest response is simply moving forward and refusing to play the game anymore. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced any of these behaviors from a narcissistic ex? Your story may help someone else recognize the signs and start their own journey toward healing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.